Previously on the 0 to KSM challenge. We started the week by taking down the world boss, and once again we received no loot. We completed the time walking weekly quest and received a seal of the earners chosen from the cache. We then looted an unstable arcane loop from the vault, and then we jumped into our first mythic plus of the day, a Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, plus 13 of course, and we finished this run flawlessly with 0 deaths. We then timed a Temple of the Jade Serpent, we timed an Azure Vaults, it took 2 separate groups to overtime a Ruby Life Pools. We then went through 2 separate groups to try and get an Algotha's Academy done. Yeah, those didn't go well either. For the 3rd time in a row I went back to Ruby Life Pools, didn't even get the group going for this one. And then we moved on to Mikey and we timed a Knockard Offensive. We then moved on to my favourite place of the series, Halls of Valor. I played my absolute heart out for this one and I ended up soloing the last boss. Oh dear. Get it? Because of the dragon and the deer and the hunter and the other 3. Sorry. From there, we jumped into a Court of Stars, and unfortunately, we overtimed this one. Probably my fault. We then went back and timed an Algotha's Academy. We then took ourselves back to another Court of Stars, but this time, we absolutely destroyed it. And we got the ring. We got the ring. And then it was Ruby Life Pools Take 4. Thankfully, this time we managed to time it, and it took our total rating up to 1,980. And that's where we start this reset. Score 1,980 and item level 391. But this was the week we finally achieve KSM. After all our hard work, our blood, sweat and tears, it was time to jump in to some Mythic Plus. But this week, we're going to do things a little differently. I know, I'm changing my ways. We're going to start this week with a 16 Court of Stars. My first 16. And well, at the end of it, you'll see why we're jumping into this one first. But of course, before we get into all of this, we have to kill the world boss, check the weekly quest, and take a look to see what loot we can get from the vault. Oh, I've even saved a load of Valor for this week too. That should be fun. Alright, so it seems the world boss loot has dried up for Dilly. And this week, we get into another group, and we are determined to break this curse. I mean, it's not really much of a curse, I'm just used to getting loot from the world boss, unlike everyone else apparently. So yeah, this week, once again, we jump into a group, we take down the world boss, and yeah, no loot, let's move on. We then went to check the weekly quest. Arena. Yeah, that's not happening. It was time to open the vault. And according to a member of the community that commented on the last episode, I've been making a crucial mistake by going into my vaults with blood loot spec. See, the trinket I should be aiming for is the one from Court of Stars, the Windscar Whetstone. Yeah, you don't get that in blood spec, it's only DPS. And I assume because of the weapons, Unholy would still give me the 2-handers, whereas Frost would give me 1-handers. So I should have been going into my vaults using Unholy loot spec. Yep, once again, mistakes have been made. So yeah, this week, trinkets again was on the list, along with perhaps a weapon, and there were a couple of other pieces that we could have upgraded. So once again, we approach the vault, we use Slappy Hands, and we wait patiently to see what treasures we get from the vault. And because last week we timed everything at a plus 13, we had 3 slots available at item level 408. This week we were presented with a belt, which unfortunately we have the unstable Frostfire belt, so we won't be replacing that. We got the chance of a chest upgrade, but we already had tier at 402, which we could later upgrade. And then we had the choice of some wrists, which were a massive upgrade, as our current wrists are only 372. So yeah, that one was a bit of a no-brainer, but we took the wrists. With the new wrists equipped, it took our total item level up to 393. Along with this, I had a bunch of Valor saved up over the last few weeks, so we went ahead and spent the rest of that on various items, and that bumped our total item level up to 395. Court of Stars, I was ready. I formed the group, and the people I chose had quite a bit of rating and quite a bit of gear. Everyone in the group was well over 2,000 rating, and the item level varied from 405 to 415. I was feeling pretty good about the group, but today I wanted to try something different. See, typically with Court of Stars, after I take the first pack, I like to then go left down the stairs and take the double pack by the harbour. For whatever reason, I decided not to do it this time. And I wanted to, for science, the percentage after the first boss. You know, the part where you yo-yo from side to side, taking down the enforcers and the imps. Don't forget the imps. Always the imps. All right, so getting to the first boss, it was a little messy. A couple of people standing and stuff. And we end up getting to the first boss with 3 deaths. The flask is taken care of by the demon hunter. And I wait patiently while the other members disable all the beacons. Now, we disable the first 2 beacons, but as I wait patiently for the warrior to clear the last one on the right, I simply remind them in party chat that there's no rush. You know, like, there's no rush, take your time. I guess no rush doesn't translate very well, and I'm not sure they understand what I mean, or maybe they think I'm being sarcastic, I don't know. So I just explain, like, there's no rush, we can chill. And unfortunately, while I'm typing it out, the warrior gets caught by the patrol, and then decides to leap into the group, which is fine, we can take it. I mean, we skipped percentage at the beginning, so we might as well take a little bit now, right? Now, as I'm tanking the ads, you can see the boss is getting closer and closer, so I decide to move back. Unfortunately here, one of the ads decides to run into the path of the boss. This meant that we aggroed the boss. Unfortunately, the warrior died. I CR'd the warrior, but unfortunately I think they took the res, and as soon as they took the res, there was a bit of a quaking collision, I think. Yeah, the warrior died again, the shaman died, we nearly lost the warlock, and it was pretty clear that this was going to be a wipe. So we do in fact wipe, and I make my way back to the boss. I stop on the bridge just before I get there to read party chat. Okay. We do eventually take down the first boss with 1 further death, and we proceed to the next area. Now, you remember at the beginning when I said I wanted to try something different? Well, I didn't exactly have a set route planned. I didn't know what mobs I was going to take, and I was just winging it. Now, I think it would have been fine, but I got pretty tilted at whoever it was pinging on the minimap. So I was basically listening to the pings, and that pretty much determined the route I took. Yeah, I should have been more stubborn, I should have stuck to my guns, and I should have just led the group where I felt was best. There were a couple of patrol groups that we ended up dying to. At one point we had a mini-boss and an enforcer walked around the corner and unfortunately got aggroed. And well, we've been here before, we know the deal. I'm not going to show all the footage, but yeah, a lot of mistakes were made. Long story short, by the time we get to the second boss, we have 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, so yeah, it doesn't look very promising. Sadly, we end up overtiming this run by 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Now, I did mention last week that we were going to push our key this week, and that is exactly what we did. Now, I didn't want to leave on a low, which is why I've shown this key first, so if you haven't guessed it by now, we achieved KSM today. Sorry, spoilers. I mean, was it really ever in doubt? We were like 20 points away. Oh, and the Court of Stars gave us a knockout offensive 15, which is quite interesting. It's okay, you'll see. So, going back to the first run of the day where we start at score 1980. And the key we have is an Azure Vaults 13. Not one of my favorites, but it's not the worst. It was first run of the day. I hadn't logged or played my DK for like 4 days, maybe 5. Yeah, due to time constraints, I only actually record on the DK like 2 days a week. So 2 out of the 7 days is all I have to play the DK. Probably explains why I'm so bad, right? I'm not allowing enough time to build the muscle memory. Anyway, as I say, first run of the day, and I start with a bit of a spicy pull for the group because they're all like around the 400 item level mark and it's a 13. So I suspect everything's going to go okay. Yeah, as I say, the first pull is a bit spicy. I pull a bit too much. It's okay for me to handle, but for everyone else and the affixes we have to deal with. So we do end up losing a few people, and I end up apologizing and basically just say that I'll slow down with the pulls and take it easy. Oh yeah, affixes. So I keep forgetting. Sorry. This week's affixes were Fortified, Raging, Quaking, and of course, Thundering. In terms of the run itself, there's not actually too much to say. We had 4 deaths before the first boss and only 1 additional death after that. And we end up timing the dungeon with 5 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Sadly, not my best timed Azure Vaults, and therefore we receive a 0 rating. Timing this run upped our key to an Algotha's Academy 14. Once again, a place that we've covered quite a bit, and there's not too much to cover in this run. Though I did want to share something that I messed up with leading up to the last boss. So clearly there was a lack of concentration and I messed up with the percentage. I ended up pulling the last pack into the room, and for whatever reason, I didn't think we had enough. We took down the last pack, which is usually fine in my runs because I've done the same route a few times now and it works out perfectly. But I don't know how I managed it for whatever reason. I swear I looked at the weak aura, but I guess I really can't explain it. So yeah, I ended up running out of the room. I quickly pulled the patrolling pack. I then noticed we already had the percentage we needed. So I immediately stopped and tried typing to the group, "Let me die." That way only one person dies, the paladin can res me, and we can just get on with the boss. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen, and a couple of members of the group actually come in to help me, so, you know, fair play to them, but at the same time, really bad on my part, really bad on my part. Anyway, we end up timing the dungeon, we gain 10 rating, which takes our total score up to 1,990. And the key that we get from this run is a knockout offensive 15. Exactly the same key we actually get from Court of Stars. So, we begin. Knockout offensive 15. If I timed this, I would achieve KSM. The run doesn't start well, and the healer goes down to the first pack. By the time we get to the first boss, we already have 4 deaths. We have an intense crossover with Thundering and Eruption. The group barely survives. We push on and we kill the boss. We take down the Raging Tempest. We defeat Tira and Maruk. Now, Balakar was the only one standing in our way. This was our time. This was our moment. But how did we get here?
Ancestors, forgive me.
Oh, hi. So I've been trying to record this for like the last hour. I can't put things into words. I'd struggle. But basically, before we get into the rest of the series where I go over my thoughts and how things went and this, that and the other, as well as talking about season 2, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for all the love and support across all the channels, especially YouTube. At the beginning of the year, could you believe it? I set out a goal to reach 1,000 subs at the end of the year. And with like 2 days of releasing the first KSM series video, yeah, we completely smashed that. It means so much to me that you guys are enjoying the series, honestly. It means the world to me. And all the love, the support, the wonderful comments. I wake up every day not believing that it's happening. Like, I don't believe it's real. I've got like bullet point notes of things that I want to say, but I just can't put it into words. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. It would be an absolute dream come true to do this sort of thing full time. And for the longest time, I didn't think it was possible. But with how things are going, all the love and support, I don't know, maybe one day this could be a thing. And although this series may be coming to an end, for Dilly, yeah, we're just getting started. This is just the beginning. We have big plans. Big plans. All right, love you guys. I'll let you get back to the video. I'm getting emotional. I'm going to go. Okay, bye. Well, there we have it. We end the series with item level 396 and a Mythic Plus rating of 2030. All this achieved in a total of 37 runs. I don't know, is that good? Is that bad? Average? So, tanking and the blood DK. Yeah, this one was a tricky one for me. Definitely a challenge. I've definitely come out of this challenge feeling a little bit better about myself and more confident going into Pugs. Man, it's so much easier as a DPS. Firstly, for tanked, and I could probably say the same thing about healers. You need so much more dungeon knowledge than DPS. Like, I'm a melee main, I kind of learn what I have to do and I don't worry about everyone else. Playing the tank, you kind of need to know everything. I mean, you're considered the leader of the group, you control the entire pacing of the dungeon, and everyone looks to you when they're lost. So it definitely takes a type of person, a type of player. That's not to say you can't learn these things, so don't be put off by what I'm saying, but it's a hell of a lot harder than just DPSing. Now, Blood DK, I will rank it as my second favourite tank after the Warrior. I have a bit of an attachment to the warriors due to some of the lore. My warrior's named after an orc called Broxigar. And I think because of that and the class fantasy, my love for orcs in general, yeah, Blood DK is going to be number 2 for me. Which honestly surprises me coming out of this. I definitely misplayed and, well, you guys have been pointing out my mistakes and whatnot since the beginning, so... I think if I was to play this properly, it would have to be a lot more than I'm currently playing. So currently, I'm only actually playing the DK on Sundays and Mondays for recording sessions. So I'm probably not actually allowing enough time to build up that muscle memory, so the next time I play, it's like a week later and I'm really rusty. Yeah, it's probably something I'm going to have to consider going into Season 2, especially if you guys vote for something like a healer, because I'm going to struggle with that. But yeah, no excuses. I set out to achieve KSM, and I did it. Alright, I guess you guys want to know about Season 2, huh? Well, some of you guys have been asking me to play this class and this role and that role. And as I keep saying, the next role and spec is completely down to you guys. So here's what's going to happen. In the next week or so, there's going to be a poll on my Discord. This poll will include a list of roles. Eliminating tank because we've done that. So obviously we will have healer, melee DPS, and ranged DPS. The poll will last for a week. Once the role has been decided, I will then do a second poll to determine what spec I play. Now, in terms of when this actually starts for Season 2, I am unsure. I might do it right at the beginning, but I might hold off a couple of weeks, just so I can learn the new dungeons, the new rotation for the season. And because of the time frame, I might actually have time for 2 series for Season 2. Obviously, what I play in the first series for Season 2 will be totally down to you guys, but the second one will be completely my choice. So yeah, I'll probably pick something OP. However, I will play the same role that you guys pick for the season. The rules for next season, I think for the most part will stay exactly the same. I will treat the character as if it's my only character. Though I'm always open to suggestions, so if you guys have any feedback or ideas for the series, let me know in the comments below. So yeah, Season 2. Make sure you guys join the Discord to get involved. Don't forget you can catch me live over on Twitch a few days a week. I hope you guys did enjoy the series. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out on Season 2. And you can follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with everything I get up to. Have I plugged everything? That feels like everything. Alright, that's me done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.